Hello, everyone. So one of the trends, the recent trends that is happening in the stock market is the influx of beginners. And millions of beginners trading stocks, perhaps for the first time. And to understand this, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is just, again, some thoughts according to Kabbalah and Chassidus, is we can relate this back to the story of Eldad and Medad that were prophesying in the camp. And when Yoshua informed Moses about this, that Moses said, if only everyone would be a prophet. So with the coming of Mashiach, there is an awakening for all of us to fulfill our potential, both in terms of an awakening, in terms of prophecy, as it says, one of the prophecies about the coming of Mashiach is that the prophecy will return, but also that wealth should be fairly distributed, and we should have what we need in order we should all be able to serve God. So when we think about the Hasidic movement, so it emphasized the special quality of the simple Jew, simple service, simple faith, and that you have scholars, you have Torah scholars, and they have their place, but you also, that the Baal Shem Tov cherished his interactions with the simple Jews and to awaken their fervor and to their desire to connect to Hashem, and lessons from their simple service of Hashem. So when we speak about, like, one of the platforms, again, I'm not endorsing, is called Robin-Hood. So what's the symbolism behind Robin-Hood? Is that he takes from the rich and he gives to the poor. So we have a verse for that in Psalms, that it's not Robin-Hood that does it, it's Hashem Elokim. It's a Moshe Ish Elokim, Moses, the leader of the generation, together with God, the Wheel of Fortune decides one day that this person will become wealthy, and that the wealth should transfer from this other person. And again, it's all in order to based on judging the scales and what putting someone to the side of merit and the opposite for the other person, at least on that day. And every day could be that the wheels turns and turns again. This one God lowers, and this one God raises. So when we think about how to even the playing field, you have these people that are wealthy, and it's a lot of times there's frustration amongst, like, let's say these newer traders, because they see that these other people, maybe they're shorting the stock, maybe they're bulls, and the stock should go up, say for instance, and they're shorting it in order to take advantage of the hype and the excitement, and they see that a lot of these new traders are trading the stock. So the first thing that a beginner has to be confident in themselves. Yes, to do the due diligence, to be to research and to learn, to grow, but also to trust in themselves and not to fall to fear. The Baal Shem Tov, that was the lesson that his father taught him when he was a young boy, that to fear only God, and it's the all of God, not to fear of God, to sublimate it to all of God. And this lesson from his father was ingrained in him so that he was able to even travel through a forest at night by himself. So even if a stock is going down, that it doesn't mean not to sell, but to trust in one to have self-confidence, and not to think that this person who has a lot more money today, that it means that he is more right. Because in the coming of Mashiach, in these days, there's a democratization of wealth that God wants it, that the wealth should be for those good people to do good with the wealth. So this is what we're seeing before our eyes. And again, a beginner also needs to learn, to grow, to do their research, and but not to think that any obstacle is insurmountable. Any person that has a position today of wealth or power, influence, means nothing. Because in an instant, God can decide that the wealth should transfer to this good-hearted person. Okay, thank you.